You're listening to the Learnings and Missteps podcast, where we intend to change the image of careers in the trades. We celebrate the real men and women who have built careers in the construction industry by bringing their personal stories straight to you. I began my career as a plumber's apprentice in the late 1900s. Over the last 26 years, I've had the fortune of meeting some of the most resilient, intelligent, and inspiring people who happen to be construction workers. My career path as a plumber has provided me with experiences and opportunities I thought were inaccessible. And I want you to know that the trades are a place where dreams can come true. These stories are brought to you by three brothers who share a mother. I am Jesse, your host. Our in-house writer is Ernest, aka La Voz,
Hello.
and our co-host Rene.
What's up?
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Dale.
Hey, what's going on? I am flying solo with this opening. Our in-house writer, La Voz, is occupied otherwise. I'm going to do my best. Don't want to let him down. Have you ever reconnected with an old friend that you hadn't seen in 10 plus years and felt like no time passed at all? On this episode, you get to hear a conversation between Rene Caterpillar Duron and Alexander Trevino. Alexander's a first-year electrical apprentice after having had a career in social work. Decided to make a significant switch, and we get to hear about the family dynamics associated with that. Alexander also shares with us his personal experience in the education system. And then somehow, some way, Alexander gets Rene and I to start talking about our relationship, and we have a bit of a special moment that I hope you guys enjoy. And these two young men offer some powerful advice to all the journeymen out there. This advice would help our apprentices tremendously. And not only would it help the apprentices, but it would go a lot. My opinion is that it would go a long way in changing the construction culture out there. So stick around. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Also, some of you have indicated an interest in contributing to this podcast, even more than already sacrificing the time and letting us bend your ear every other week. So we created a Patreon account, and there's three options. You can sign up to be a member of the composite crew. You can also be a maintenance tech, or you can be a builder, because we need all of them. Signing up for composite crew, maintenance tech, or builder is going to give you access to exclusive content. It doesn't mean that we're going to be changing or stopping anything that we're already doing. It's an avenue for you to contribute if you feel the urge to do so. You can find all this details and information at patreon.com/learnings and missteps. We appreciate you listening and spreading the word. So here we go.
Dude, so like I had to like resist not like asking you all the questions already when you hit me up and then because like I wanted to catch up with you right there, but I was like, no, we gotta get that in. So we're gonna catch up right now. So can you like I mean I'm embarrassed to admit, but I feel like I don't remember exactly how we met. So can you
Oh, bro.
yeah,
When
man.
I met you, man.
Dirty.
Oh, dude, we were like, it was like in the transition to like freshman year, and you were like short, and you had like long gangly arms and a big old afro, bro. And you would like clown on everybody's moms, and like it was funny. Like it
I
was
didn't do
real
that.
funny. Yeah, dude, you did that, bro. Yeah, man, you were like the funniest guy in the class. And then I remember because I had just met you that one summer. It was like a 2-3 week thing or whatever. And then we never talked or nothing because we went to different schools. And then you showed up like at Burbank senior year or something
Yeah.
for like the end of the semester, and then that was it. But yeah, bro, that's how I remember you, man. That little kid, little round, big old afro.
Yeah.
Those awkward years. Yeah, it was cool.
It was great. So what do you remember what prep it was? Was it like Navarro Academy? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Novato, bro.
Oh yeah. So okay, cool. So that's how we met. And then And then I remember. Now the gears are turning. It was like a college prep thing, right?
It was something, dude. I just know my mom made me go in the summer, and I was all upset about it. I
Same.
was like,
This
is
fool
whack.
right here. This fool right here on the freaking podcast, right? Where he's the one that made me go.
How dare he try to further your life, bro?
No, man. So you were telling me about how you went to school, right? You went to college, right? So
Yeah, I did. I got my bachelor's in sociology, and then I went to the nonprofit world after that.
wow. So
Cool.
what was your nonprofit world?
I started with Family Service Association. It's just a nonprofit that caters to everybody from like little kids, like babies, to like elderly. I started in their youth program, so I would like go and teach different curriculums at like Poe Middle School, Memorial High School. I did that for a year, and then my next job was at Good Samaritan, working with youth, mainly at Lanier High School. And so I was there for about a couple years when working with youth there.
What did you do with the youth?
With Good Samaritan, it was more like teaching them like goal setting and like accomplishments and how to get to where they want to be. I was mainly put in classrooms where they weren't on track to anything. They were kind of just like passing them through freshman, sophomore, junior, just trying to get them out of there. So I would work with them and like try to teach them like real life skills that they wouldn't be taught in class.
Wow.
So I would create lessons around like financial literacy. I would talk about career possibilities and without college, like because you don't need college to make money. That's one thing they pushed a lot in high school. Like, you gotta go to college. You gotta go to college. Man, I regret that so much. It's true, man. That freaking student debt, bro. That's what gets you.
Ah,
Did you have to use your degree like when you started working with the kids at the nonprofit? Did you need
Yeah.
that degree to get in there?
They wanted either a social work degree, a sociology degree, or a psychology degree.
Ah, okay.
And then made the huge career change.
That's freaking cool, man. I didn't even know like that existed, like that you can go to school and like focus on those nonprofits for the kids in schools. For that, I knew there was a need, but I didn't know there was like a job for that.
Yeah, bro. So like sociology like encompasses it's basically the study of people.
Yeah.
Like and I thought that was super interesting because people are always changing. Like no matter what, no matter where you go, there's always a different dynamic. There's always somebody with a different story. Like and you can take it all the way to like marketing trends. If you pay attention to youth or even adults, bro, like there's always certain things talked about, always certain things people are doing. You get like the cultural aspect of it, like why do they do what they do?
Thank you for sharing that with us because
Yeah,
I'm
no
interested
problem.
in stuff like that too. So maybe I'll get into that
Yeah, dude.
after the 75 hard challenge.
after the 75 hard challenge.
I got a couple books for you, bro. Yeah, dude. I was on Facebook and I saw your like it was like 2 hours ago, and I wake up like at 6. This dude's been up since 4. It's like I'm straight up not having a good time, and I was like, yeah, dude, I wouldn't either, bro. I wouldn't have a good time either, man.
Actually, I'm behind now because I failed the challenge yesterday. So now
You
I have to
gotta
start
start
over.
over?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, dude. But I feel great, dude. Like it's weird. You would assume it's like daunting, oh man, I gotta start over. This challenge is tough because it's like 5 critical tasks that aren't really that hard. But what's hard is to be consistent with all 5 every day. Even though I'm starting over, I feel like invigorated, man. I just feel like I can do anything. And I wonder what it's gonna feel like at the end. I'll tackle that sociology degree. That's the
oh
next
yeah,
challenge.
dude. I got a couple books you can read, man.
You're talking about going and getting a sociology degree in Alexander. So you go by Alexander, Alex, Alejandro?
Alexander's good.
Alexander? Okay, cool. And Alexander said, like, you don't have to go and get a degree. Did I hear you right?
Yeah, bro. You definitely don't.
If you read the book and apply what you learn, could you have some effect by gaining some knowledge from the books you're talking about, Alexander?
What, like just the books without school?
Yeah, like for Rene. Rene's thinking like sociology sounds
Oh,
interesting.
honestly, man, this may be like controversial or whatever, but I honestly think like college is mainly teaching yourself. I mean, the moment you show up to class, you don't want to be there. You're kind of in there just so they take roll, and you're kind of in there to take like key point notes. Like, all right, we got a quiz on this. So I'm gonna write this down so I can read it on my own time. So I can study on my own time. So I can ask my homeboy if he got it on my own time. Like all of it's like pretty much self-teaching.
Yep.
I mean, granted, you'll get like good professors here and there,
Yeah,
but I mean, you mainly kind of get professors that are like tenured in, and they're just there for the check. Like they've done their time. Like they've met like those students that changed the world, and they've had their influence. So like after that, they're just kind of there, you know. But you'll
Yeah.
get good professors for sure, and you'll learn a lot from them. But I mean, you can tell who's there for the check and who's there like really because they love what they do.
When I was at SAC, I was going for the early childhood education degree, and
Yeah.
I hated history, man. I don't know what it is about my brain. I just choose not to remember dates, I guess, and people's names and stuff. I prefer to like learn about concepts and how things work instead of
Yeah.
like hard and fast rules. Like, 1886, this happened. I can't remember that. I have a hard time. I don't know why. I need to work on that. But at SAC, shout out to Professor Buatron. Dude, that
Whoa,
guy,
what was his name?
Buatron?
Megatron.
Yeah, like a transformer.
Maybe that's why he was so good.
Roll out.
Yeah, bro.
He was
That's
so
funny.
good, man. You could just see that, like, he wasn't like super enthusiastic, but like just the wisdom and knowledge. It was like he was having a conversation with the class, and he just knew, like he never. There's a saying in the military. It goes death by PowerPoint, and like he wasn't doing that to us. Like
Nice.
he was just talking to you, and then like every now and then he'll write something on the board, and it was so interesting. I learned so much from him. So yeah, I mean, shout out to those good professors that exist out there that really love what they're doing, and it shows. But back to what I was gonna say back to your point about like it's really about teaching yourself, dude. I took this geology class. We had homework like twice a week, and then every so often there was an exam on site. You had to go test over there. And literally what I did was I would like skim through the book and read like those highlighted words or those bold words and the key terms and stuff for like 15 minutes, take the little quiz online, turn it in, get like a 75 or something, and then repeat every time. And then on the exam, she was like, yo, we're going to have an exam on chapter 1. So I would like speed read chapter 1, show up to SAC, just fill out the questions, and that's it. And now I have a geology credit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
And what you do with that, bro, is like you get one thing, you memorize it, and you didn't learn it, you just memorize. So you dump it, and then you memorize something else, and it's just like you didn't even freaking learn anything, dude.
Dude, I don't remember nothing about.
Yeah, that's how school is, dude.
So you said like you transitioned. Now you're an electrical apprentice, right?
Yeah,
So how did you make that leap?
bro. I don't even know. Nah, I was working. So like working in like social services, it's like draining, man.
Is it like emotional drain?
Yeah. You invest a lot of time, a lot of like hopes and like dreams into youth. Sometimes they don't take off, and it's like, what did I do wrong? Like how did I not lead them or inspire them enough? It's tough, man. Like seeing how generations are now is very apathetic. A lot of people don't care about anything, especially youth. And it looks like it's just getting worse. They don't take much interest in anything. It's all like on their phones. They just look for like instant gratification or like stuff to take their mind off stuff. It's really changing how they focus and what reality is to them.
Yeah.
Because they basically live through their phone, and they get their ideas in life through like celebrities or on Instagram or like TikToks. It was like tiring. Like I remember one of my good friends, his name's Darren, shout out Darren. He was flipping hot tubs for a long time, dude. His job sucked. He hated it. I can say that he's not there no more. He moved to a bank. But all this did was like, this dude just flipped hot tubs, right? He's like, how are you tired? He's like, I'm over here flipping tubs, blah, blah, blah. You have no excuse. Making this transition to electrical world was more about like, I wanted to learn something different too. I had never worked with my hands. I was never handy, never had to be. So I wanted to challenge myself and really just shake up my life, because I feel like sometimes there's points in life where you get comfortable, and
Yep.
you don't want to fall into like repetition or anything. So I was like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna start at the bottom. I'm gonna start as a green, like as a grunt. I have to take everything that rolls downhill because I wanted to see if I could. It was like overnight, like within a week, I made that change. I was just talking about it with my wife, and she was like, "Really?
Oh
You
hell!
wanna try
Oh,
it?"
that's different. I'm thinking you're a single dude.
Oh,
No, you're
nah,
like
bro. I'm
married.
married, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
she put that ring on it, bro.
Mhm.
She put it on
So
you.
she backed me, and she was excited because she has an uncle that's a electrician. He was a lineman for CPS,
All right.
worked up the ranks. You know, he was making mad money, right?
Yep.
CPS, of course, started last year in January,
Did you have
So,
to take a pay cut?
bro.
yep.
Uh,
Did your wife tell you anything about that?
uh, I went over like I drew up all the finances, and I was like, we can make it, like by the skin of our teeth. Like we'll be all right. I was like, but we can't do what we've been doing. We gotta like change our lifestyle a little bit and like eating out. So we had to make some minor cutbacks. But she also saw the end goal of it. There will be a pay increase along the way, and then once he gets licensed as a journeyman, like that changes. And she had faith in me, I guess, because she let me do it.
Yep.
So I
That's
gotta get my
awesome.
license, bro.
And that is awesome. Having somebody in your life that supports you and
Mhm.
believes in you, that's super important. Otherwise, I mean, there's some scary ass decision. That's a scary decision, right? That's not like, I'm gonna go buy some new sneakers. Like this is
No, yeah,
real.
bro. That shit is my life. And then right
Yeah.
after I did that, the pandemic hit. It was
Oh
really
shit.
interesting, dude. Super interesting. Yeah, man.
You
Great
worried
time.
about? Were y'all worried about a layoff?
Nah, bro. As soon as it hit, we started hitting overtime.
Mm.
It was weird. Like work picked up. I mean, the GCs didn't want to shut anything down. They were issuing us notes like if we got pulled over. That's when like San Antonio was on lockdown for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And the job I left, they had like got some time off. They got shut down.
So, what were your earliest career aspirations, man? Like when you and Renee met, like y'all were begging your parents and every adult in your life to go to this summer camp to get college geared. What
Yeah.
what what were your thoughts then? Right? Like,
You
what did you
know,
want to
Jesus,
do?
I wanted to be an astronaut. That's what I wanted to be.
Hell yeah! All
Oh,
right.
Nah, I didn't want to be an astronaut, bro.
oh.
Uh, I don't know, man. I just wanted to be useful.
Yeah.
That was mainly my aspect in everything. Is like I wanted to do something useful. I didn't want to do corporate work or like sit at a cubicle. I knew that would drive myself crazy, bro. Like even if I was making six figures, but if I had to be in a cubicle and doing this and that, and I wouldn't be happy. I never wanted to be like that. So I don't know. I kind of just been like floating around. So like when I also went to college because of my mom, bro. So
Yep. Shout
in
out to the
school,
moms.
in school, like yeah, that's why I took up like sociology and like giving back to the community, working within the west side of town and the south side of town. And I wanted to like invest in that, like show that like there's a lot of good that comes out of it. It's
Yeah,
just
man.
people don't see.
For our audience out there, we're from the Deuce Dime, San Antonio, San Antonio,
Hey,
right? And the South Side and West Side. Well, I'll just say San Antonio as a whole. There is like clear socioeconomic divides between different parts of town.
bro,
We
don't even
talk,
get me into that,
you
dude.
know, right?
Yeah, man. It's called redlining, bro. After World War II, when all the troops came home, buying houses and like they wouldn't let people of color buy into certain areas of neighborhoods. Where that red line turns out to be is the north side, Alamo Heights area, Castle Hills area. Like no people of color were allowed to buy in those areas. And
Yep.
those areas are now the wealthiest.
Yep.
And they just put like all the people like what's now the barrio, like the west side, south side, east side, put them all there. And yeah, dude, people of color didn't get a chance, bro, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
San Antonio's super segregated.
Super cool town, right? Like
Oh yeah,
people are
it's great. I
nice,
love it.
but you can definitely see a change in color. Like if you're driving down 35 and you start like at 35 at 410 on the south side, you'll see a change in color of the people as you go 35 up all the way through downtown and Ritterman and 1604 by the rim. I mean, that's not a whine or a complaint. It's a reality. Like you said, Alexander, there are amazing human beings in our side of town, on the south side and the west. I'm still on the south side. I'll be here forever by choice. There's tremendous talent everywhere, and it sounds like you. I mean, you said, right, like you weren't sure what you wanted to do. You just wanted to be useful, which is actually a pretty profound aspiration, right? Because
Mm,
most people want to make money. It sounds like you've always had this understanding about contribution and investing in people. Like
mhm,
even when you were younger, where did that come from?
mm. It came a lot from my parents. Yeah, my dad was really big, man. He would give you the shirt off his back,
Hmm.
like anything you needed. And that dude, he was a jack of all trades. Pick
Okay.
anything, bro.
Yeah.
Anything from cars to plumbing to whatever you had messed up, he could fix it all. But yeah, he had a big heart for people, doing what he could when he could, and he was a big man of faith, and he really lived by that scripture of, if your neighbor asks for it and you have it, like give it. That's
Nice.
how he lived his life, like daily. So I think a lot of my influence like came from him and my mom.
Renee's lucky to have an amazing, influential man in his life or men
Oh
in
yeah,
his
who
life.
is it, Rene?
Yeah, a spiritual man you're talking about right now.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
he can't stop talking about Jesus. But yeah,
He's a spiritual guru.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
like
just
it, man.
talking smack, man. I'm just talking
Hey, so like, is that y'all's relationship? Like, just big brother, and you oversee Renee, and you've been looking after him since he was young, or how does
Oh,
that go?
dude, that's a freaking amazing question. Renee, can I go first?
Dale, go.
Right, because I'll give my perspective, and you
You always
probably
go first, anyways. Just
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, freaking jerk. You're so selfish.
Uh, so so yeah, I mean, Renee's 18 years younger than me, right? So I was a senior in high school when he was born,
Damn.
and yeah, dude, like it was like I don't think it was planned, right? Like
Yeah,
I
you
think
usually you don't see like siblings that close with that much of an age difference. That's cool.
right, right. So, but for real, like when he was a little baby, yeah, we were. It was, he was a baby. I'd take care of him and stuff. It was awesome. So I got super close to him. So something happened. We don't have, for me, anyways. Like we joke around. We're close, right? We're tight. I love him. I care about him. I need him. I mean, he really saved my life. But it was around when he was in seventh grade that I realized he was having like all of a sudden becoming socially aware, right? Like
Mm,
I don't know if you remember, but I know when I was in seventh grade, all of a sudden the pro wings that I was wearing meant I wasn't cool. But
mm-hmm.
in sixth grade, it didn't matter. Mom was a single mom and she was working her ass off to support us and provide for us. So I ended up kind of picking poor models, poor male models to look up to and emulate. And I made a lot of stupid ass decisions, right? I did a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
That's partly why I stay in the South Side because, my community, my family really tolerated my crap. And if it wasn't for them, there's no way I'd be where I'm at. So I owe, right? I owe for all the dirt I did. I owe for all the people that stood by me and were patient with me. But when he got to seventh grade, I saw him kind of struggling, and he was in a very similar situation that I was when I was in seventh grade. And so I was like, oh shit, I got to be that guy, right? Otherwise, he's going to do the same pendejadas that I did. And I didn't want him to go through that pain. And he would write me notes and say, Jesse, could you please get involved in my academic career? Could you
Yeah.
Shut up.
could
That's
you
so
please
sweet.
could you please come and sit in me in all my classes?
And would you go?
I did.
Yeah, he
He
did.
Oh,
Because I got in trouble. Because I got in trouble for talking in class.
you
yeah,
clown.
Yeah.
yeah, he was a clown. So no, he didn't ask. Right, that was just me. I was like, oh, he's starting to challenge authority. Right, starting to kind of flex his muscles
Hmm.
and like it wasn't horrible. He got in trouble for talking smack. but I knew I need to get involved and show support. So there was one day where I went to the school, talked to the principal. I said, "Look," and they're like, "What's the problem? Like he's a great student." He's like, "Yeah, I know. But this is what I see, and I don't want that pattern to start. So I want to kind of cut it off right now." So I shadowed him for one day in all of his classes. And dude, let me tell you, by the time we got to the last period, I wanted to screw around with the student and jack around and just because I was a bad student, man. I felt like I knew that I had to do something. And all I could do was give him my time because I really did, I was a mess in my own personal life. But through that, I really found myself. It helped me learn about giving back and finding value in the community and finding value in the students and like it wasn't all about making money. It took a bunch of years for me to really filter all of that out. But
Yeah.
what that ended up creating is we kind of have like the brother, like we're brothers, but it also created a kind of a paternal relationship. Because when shit went bad, they would call me, right? Like Jesse, you got to get involved. Like Renee,
Yeah,
mom
you
would
were the
call.
man of the family.
But I had to be the disciplinarian. And so I had to sacrifice like the fun brotherly stuff, like farting in his face and shit, because I had to at least pretend like I was responsible and mature. Now that he's a grown man, I've said it before, but he's my hero, man. Like this dude, I want to be like him. He's got some qualities that I've never had. That his humility, his dedication to his wife and to people. Like at his age, I didn't give a damn about nobody but me and maybe him.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah,
think for
so
Rene, it was just the most amazing, lucky thing that ever happened to him.
right?
Right?
Heck no, that's what you think. I remember when I was little growing up, you know, seeing it from my perspective, right? He thinks he's the greatest thing, but when I was in middle school, I was like, man, this guy's an ass. Why is he killing my vibe? Like, I'm
I
I'm
don't even
starting to be
like this
cool.
guy.
I don't even like this dude. but in hindsight, like I remember a time where I was having a hard time in math. I don't remember what we were doing, man, but I couldn't get this concept of this equation, whatever it was. And like all my friends around, like my friends around me, nobody was really in like being cool at the time meant like you slacked off at school
Yeah,
or
you weren't a tryhard. Yeah, for sure.
exactly being a tryhard. That's what we were calling. Oh, you're such a tryhard. You're a schoolboy.
Oh, you got an
Schoolboy.
A.
Try
Yeah.
exactly. It was you were not
That's
cool if you
stupid.
were
Yeah.
successful, right?
If you
So
were smart, yeah.
exactly. So and then he was making me be smart. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was cool with my friends, it meant I wasn't cool with Jesse. Right? That's how I felt at the time. I remember a time where I needed help. I needed help in math, and Jesse was helping me. And like I just wanted to quit so bad. Like I was like, dude, I didn't tell him at the time.
Well, is this
I,
in high school?
this was in middle school. It was in eighth
Okay.
grade. I remember it. Miss
You're
Klein's
already ready to
class.
drop out, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was ready to drop out because I
I'm
was
never
getting.
gonna win.
I'm never gonna be cool. I don't want to do this no more. It'd be the
Yeah.
ultimate cool if I just drop out. But no, I remember he was showing me this equation, right? And I just wasn't getting it. And I didn't want to get it. At the time, I didn't want to get it. I just wanted to be cool.
Mm.
I was like getting so frustrated. And then like I was just thinking about, okay, so if I allow myself to understand this concept, I'm going to start getting A's again. And then now I'm not cool with my friends no more, right? And I remember, and I was just like, and I broke down into tears
Mm-hmm.
when he was teaching me this concept of the math equation. And then and he's like, "Why are you crying? Like, are you getting bullied or what's up?" And I didn't tell him. I never told him. But that's what was going on in my head at the time. But he told me this, and then I'll never forget it. He told me, he said, "Are you gonna cry every time it gets hard?" That's what he told me. And like, dang, like that just clicked. It just clicked, and like I feel like that's kind of what our relationship is now. At least for me, it's like I don't need to cry every time it gets hard or complain or woe is me. There's people out there that want to see me do good. There's people that believe in me, and I feel like he's that person, He's one of the pillars in my life where that always believe in me, even when I don't believe in myself. And I feel like he's like the side rails of a cliff. Like if I make the reference to life as like a mountain or something, he's like the rails on the side. Like I'm starting to go this way, but he's lived through that experience of going over the edge, and he's there, and he's just a cone. He's just a couple of cones. He's not like a freaking hardcore barrier. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's just a cautionary too. He's not like a helicopter parent either. He lets me fail, and he gives me advice. He never tells me what to think, but rather how to learn. And I feel like that's what our relationship is now. And I feel like, whether I realize it or not, or accept it or not, I feel like my path is similar to what his path was, but at a much faster rate because of his guidance.
Yeah.
Because like I got into the mugrero too. Like when I was in my early 20s, I was partying a lot. And that's probably why I don't remember how me and you met, Alex. Like,
all that weed, bro.
Well, I didn't want to say what it was, but exposed. But yeah, dude, like I feel like
no.
Man. But I feel like that's what we got going on. He's like a guardrail with like a launching pad and like my map, and I'm grateful. But I didn't say that. I just said you're a map.
So Alexander, you said, all right, hell with it. I'm gonna do something new. I'm gonna challenge myself.
Yeah.
Like total change. You went from nonprofit world, working with people, developing community, developing people, like giving all your heart, to now you're going into an industry that, like, they don't want to hear what you think. You just got to put shit in, follow direction, and put it in.
Yeah.
What kind of culture shock did you experience?
Yeah, man. It's like you're an inside dog and then you get thrown outside, right? You're like, oh, what the hell? Like coming from sitting down half the day to always on your feet, always on ladders, no AC. Yeah, man. They tell you like straight up, man. I don't pay you to think. You just do what I say. That's it. So culturally, I don't know if it was more of a culture thing, but more of an individual thing. I knew I had to swallow my pride, and I knew I had to go through it. And that's the only way I would number one, learn the right way, and gain the trust and respect of like who I work with. Because like there were some other green guys I would go in with, and like they would talk back, they would complain, or they would already try to put their 2 cents in.
Yeah.
And this guy that's telling you to do something has been doing it for 10 plus years. I mean, maybe 5, has a journeyman's license. Like, obviously, he's telling you to do something because the most effective way. I mean, like now, I'm starting to like try to like figure it out on my own and maybe challenge a little bit. But that took a lot of work, bro. That took a lot of like they say, was it shit rolls downhill?
Yeah,
and that's
baby.
it, bro. I would show up for a while. I wouldn't even use my tools, bro. They just had me going up and down a ladder and fire cocking everything and just like, yeah, dude. So like, I had my bench and it was just like full of stuff, and I was like, damn it, bro. And I would have to sweep the buildings every Friday, and usually they would rotate, but they're like, who's gonna sweep? They're like, all right, get Alex to do it. So like, all right, like here I go, I'm sweeping, like I'm getting paid the same, whatever. It just like I wanted to learn, dude. I was eager, like I wanted to get to where I wanted to be. You got to get thick skin, and like they try to push your buttons, and they try to break you, basically.
I'll break you.
Yeah, it's all a mental game, bro. You get thrown in the field, and all these guys are like machismo and like like this and that, like all driven on pride, and selfishness, and they're going to eat you up. And you either stand your ground, you give up, or you just become exactly what they want you to become. And yeah, because you can't be a pushover either.
No.
You get eaten up too. So.
Yeah, they won't respect you for that.
So I remember when I was doing HVAC, I had a similar experience too, where I wanted to do HVAC stuff. You know, I wanted
Was it
to,
like commercial? Because I'm in
Yeah.
commercial.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
commercial.
yeah.
So I wanted to, you know, put the duct together. I wanted to hang the duct. I wanted to
Yeah.
be the guy that drills the hammer straps or the freaking hanger straps and all that. I wanted to
dude.
do HVAC stuff, but they
You wanna
had
do hot guy shit.
exactly. I wanted to do hot guy shit. But I
I
wasn't
wanted
a
to
hot
tell
guy.
my girl I did something.
Yeah, dude. But like it said, I was coming home to my friends and be like, "Yeah, I did freaking pookie all day, freaking painted all the fire caulking all day." You know, I didn't do anything. In my head, that's what I was thinking. And I mean, fast forward a couple of months, I ended up quitting. I was like, "Dude, I'm not even doing HVAC stuff." So my question to you is, what keeps you in the game? Like, even though, how did you get past that? How did you overcome the initiation?
Dude, it was tough, bro. One, I did it mainly because like my family knew I made the career change. My girl knew I made the career change. Her parents knew I made the career change, and I didn't want to quit, bro. That's one thing. Like I try to see things through, and honestly, like I wanted to make sure mainly her parents knew she was in good hands. Like, cause her dad, I mean, he works for Saws, and he started in commercial and in sewage. He worked his way up. It was mainly people knowing that I made the transition and knowing that I didn't want to let a lot of people down. And I've always just been like a big picture guy. So like I know I'm right here, but I know what the end game is. So like if I can just like fight through it just like a little longer, like I'm gonna get there. But like you just gotta like embrace the suck, Like I'm here. It is what it is, and you just keep pushing forward. Yeah, for sure, dude. I wanted to quit, bro. It's stupid, man. Why did I even do this? Like, I'm over here, like, I'm trying to like bend pipe. I want to get shocked already. Like, I want to get in there, bro. I'm trying to get hit. But yeah, I had to go through that, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 months. No, 3, 4 months. And then I started getting my hands in there and bending pipe. And the first guy who taught me, his name's Ram. Shout out Ram. He started giving me a little more responsibility. Granted, when I messed up, bro, everybody knew, man.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knew, dude. And I was like, and it just makes me not want to mess up anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how familiar you are with the trade of like electrical world. I'm sure just being around it, I'm sure you learned something. But like in bending pipe, if you're doing like an offset, and an offset is basically like an S, right?
Yeah.
And in order to do that, you bend it one way, flip the pipe, bend it another, but you got to make sure it's straight. And if it's crooked, they call it a dog leg, right? So mine was like a little bit crooked, and he's just barking loud, dude. He's like,
and then everybody else starts barking too.
Yeah. They're like, bro, this dude can't do it. He did a dog leg, and I was like, damn it, bro. And like, all right, just can't let it happen again. But yeah, dude, yeah, I wanted to quit, bro, because it sucked. It sucked being at the bottom. Like, it's not fun at all.
Dude, there's just something motivating about a good woman, right? Because like I had that I couldn't handle that for some reason. Just I don't know, at the time when I was working at the HVAC, I didn't want to embrace the suck for whatever reason. I think it was pride.
Bro.
Exactly. I was like, dude, these guys are disrespecting me. They don't even
you know who I am.
Like, exactly.
Say my name.
Exactly, dude.
And then you take a step back and you're like, honestly, I don't know nothing, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know who I am.
So, dude, you nailed it for real. I was like, what? Like I was like 19, 20 when I was working in HVAC. I really didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. I was swelled with pride. I was in the best shape of my life at the time. So I was like, how were these people telling me? Like at the time, but fast forward a couple of years later, I find myself. I had my son, and I believe I was 21 years old. Yeah. And correction, because I remember on a previous episode I said I had my son at 19, but I was actually 21. Anyway, I had my son at 21 years old.
Don't forget that degree.
I had my son at 21. I was working at a children's center. I really loved my job at the time, but like it was only paying 950, you know. And my wife was pregnant. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time. She was pregnant, and I was like, dude, like we can't. We're not gonna be able to fit our family into my mom's house in just my room. You know, we got a crib. We got to set up a crib. We got to set up the changing station, like everything that you need for a child. And I was like, I need to make money, man. You know, and
at 950, cut it.
dude, at 950, not gonna cut it, bro. So I started applying places, and my buddy, shout out to Ruben Gallegos. He was like, bro, come work at Saws. He was a meter tech, and he was like, yeah, man, I love my job. You know, I just fix a meter here, replace it. I got my own truck. You know, nobody's really telling me what to do and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like me. I don't want to be told what to do either. So I was like, cool. He's like, yeah, but apply for utility tech. Apply for utility tech, and then do that for a little bit, and then apply for meter tech, because it's not an entry-level job. Meter tech's not an entry-level job, right? So be utility tech. But little did I know, I'm going to freaking have to humble myself again.
Yeah,
Because,
buddy.
bro, oh my gosh, dude. Like, I thought I had it bad at the HVAC place, but it was 10 times worse as a utility tech. I was like, not only were people freaking talking mess and barking and Rene no sabe this, Rene no sabe that, and no vale and all this stuff, and like fucking all this mess, and like, you know, I would make a mistake and they take away the tools from me. No, let me do it. You know, like super machismo to the max, like to the maximum level. But you know, I was like, I have to freaking do it. I can't quit this time. You know, I got my wife and my son. Like, I cannot leave this legacy of a quitter behind for my son. My son,
Yeah.
I got people watching me now. You know what I'm saying? But the key is that people were always watching me the whole time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't.
And four.
But that like that's what I'm saying. Like, the shout out to my wife too. You know, for believing in me, and because like I would come home and be like, man, Bon, please let me quit. I would tell her that, like, please let me quit. I'll go back to school. Just let me finish my degree. Yeah, exactly. She's like, yeah, I'm freaking right. We're not gonna live here forever and stuff like that. At my mom's
bro.
house.
If she was with you at 950, she deserves the world, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly, bro. Oh man, she's so patient. And like, but I had to go through that initiation too, so that I can enjoy and appreciate what I have now. Like right now, I moved up twice, and I'm in leak detection now, and it's you use more of your head. But now, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't have the knowledge and the vision of the big picture that you were talking about to do my job as a leak detector. If I wasn't there in the whole underground, seeing what the pipe looked like, seeing what the fittings and what all the problems, the type of cracks, the type of breaks, the material in the ground, all of these things, had I quit when I was getting initiated, or had I not embraced the suck, I wouldn't have the vision I have now to do my job. And again, shout out to my wife for making me stick it out and staying with me and listening to all my bitching and complaining. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have made it.
For sure.
So
dude.
what advice do you guys have for the journeyman or the experienced people that are initiating that new squinkle, that new greenhorn that just hit the crew?
I want to go first on this one. And
you always go first.
See, I get it from him. So I'm always gonna, every time anybody asks me about that, I always want to talk about my mentor Francisco Escajeda. We have an episode about Francisco, who taught me everything I knew about the distribution system, the water distribution system. Like, yeah, he would be one of the guys too to say like no sabe, right? But after he was telling me no sabe, here, this is how you do it, and this is why. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking a little shit, but teach the guy, show him. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like our culture, and I'm speaking in my experience, there was a culture, and it's still there, of like you have to know everything right now, and if you don't, you ain't worth a damn or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's like we need to. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's some pride, or I don't know, but nobody knows everything, especially at the beginning. And I feel like if we could just be patient with the new guys, and instead of just barking at them and like blasting them in front of people and everything, if you're gonna do that, show them as well.
Mm.
And just remember how you started too. Don't forget. And just be patient, like Francisco was with me. He always, and then when I started doing the job right, he reinforced my good habits with a little bit of praise. He'd be like, yeah, that's good, that's how you do it, man. And now you're gonna show. And he also instilled in me to show other people too. Show the next guy on our team, because like my foreman at the time, he was an asshole, dude. He was an Man, I hated that dude. I wanted to freaking beat him up so bad. And like, um he he instilled in me to not do that too. Don't repeat the cycle. And like, my I say my foreman was an asshole because like every guy. So in our crew, it's a 4-man crew. A full crew is a 4-man crew. 2 utility techs, an operator, and a foreman. So every guy that would show up on our crew, they would quit. They would end up quitting. So it was just
Yeah.
me, Francisco, and my foreman, who I'm not gonna name. And the fourth man would always quit because they couldn't handle the pressure that my foreman was putting on them, right? And there, you could say, well, then if he couldn't handle the pressure, then we don't need you here. You could say that, but I wonder what happens if we flip the script, and start developing our guys,
Yeah.
and change that culture. I wonder what happens, because like, I, I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I really enjoy what I do, and I feel like I do a really good job at it too. And if it wasn't for these people that gave me patience and kindness and guidance, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to produce the quality of work that I produce now if it wasn't for that guidance. I guess that finishes my rant.
Oh shit. What about you, Alexander? What advice would you give to the journeyman out there to
Oh
help them?
man, you guys got the time? Nah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty similar to that. I think the talking down and correcting and like the talking shit aspect, I think it's kind of necessary. Guys go in there already big headed and they need to be humbled. Just like everybody needs to
Just
get their
like
butt
this
whooped
guy.
in life at least once.
Just
Like
like this guy.
you, sometimes you need to ask meeting to get straight. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just how it
man.
is, bro. You get put in your place, you're like, all right, I guess like I go from here. And so like I think that's good. Little bits of encouragement go a long way. I remember one time, bro, after a long day, like the guy I first learned with, he was like, you're actually decent, and you'll never hear me say this again. And if you tell it, he's like, and if you tell anybody I said that, he's like, I'm gonna deny it. All right. And I was like, all right, bro, I got you. But inside, I was like, damn, like I'm okay.
Yes.
After lunch, they were saying something I did wrong because I came in with no experience, no commercial experience, nothing like
Yeah.
working with my hands. And there was one journeyman there, and so journeymans have white helmets, and everybody else has gray. If you're not a journeyman, you have gray helmets. Bunch of gray helmets there. One journeyman, and he everybody's just clowning, and he looks up. He's like, "Hey man, it's all good." He's like, "I started with no experience." And the guy that started with no experience is the only one with a white helmet. So I was like, all right, like
All
there's,
right.
there's another like
Dang,
I'm
All
gonna pick
right.
that up. I'm gonna run with it. Like that's it. So it's also those little bits of encouragement that like they go a long way, bro. And I'm not saying like they need to pat your back, encourage you, and be your cheerleader along the way. It's just remembering like because you know when you see a man defeated, when you see like they're getting like either it's frustrated, impatient, or they're on the brink of quitting. Like feeding them that just a little bit, and then you go on to like just punching them around after that. Because like that'll be enough. That'll be enough for them to
Just
get
a
through
little
it,
bit.
you know?
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Piggyback on that real quick.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
One of my favorite authors is Jocko Willink. He talks about that balance that you were talking about. Like you don't gotta kiss somebody's ass and always be praising them, worshiping them, but at the same time you don't always gotta be constantly grilling. He talks about it in his book, The Dichotomy of Leadership. That's the book I'm reading right now. He was like the task unit commander of like one of the most decorated task units in the Navy SEALs called Task Unit Bruiser. And even him, a hardened killer, he talks about his regrets at sometimes like pushing people over the edge, and that there's times where you gotta hold the line and be like, yo, you're being a shitbag right now. And then but there's also times for praise and positive reinforcement.
Man, that was. Thank God that wasn't a real long rant.
No,
but
I mean,
that's an important point.
It's
right?
high turnover too.
It's high turnover, right? Because man, you gotta, like you said, you gotta have some thick ass skin because if you're dainty, it ain't easy, man. It's absolutely difficult. So you guys, way back in the day, again, when y'all were like super happy and just looking for a summer program to go and expand your knowledge, y'all were what, sixth, seventh, eighth grade?
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, I think
Around that? Okay. And so what I've gathered so far is like y'all haven't been tight all this time. So how did y'all reconnect?
That's a good question. I think I posted something on Facebook, and then you just messaged me on Facebook Messenger, Alex.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah, you shared the podcast, and
that's right.
I read the title of Learning the Missteps, and then I read what it was about. I was like, yo, that's super good. And I didn't know if it was him running it or like how long he's been a part of it. But yeah, I just reached out to him and I was like, dude, like that's important for people to know because there's a lot of like negative stigma like towards the trade. You do a trade if you don't know nothing, if you're not good at anything, if you wanted to be a bum and didn't go to college. It's dumb stuff like that they pour into you in high school.
So on that line of questioning, have you listened to any of the episodes prior to getting on?
I've listened to a couple.
Cool. And you listen on like Apple Podcast or
It was like
Spotify?
a link to a website or something.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, then I'll give you a pass because I was gonna say if you listen on Apple Podcast and you didn't hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
I'll do that today though.
And that goes to all you other listeners. No.
Yeah.
No, man, but I mean that's the whole purpose behind this podcast is, I think a lot of us, the three of us for sure can agree that there's a certain type of messaging out there that says go to college or flip burgers. And
Yep.
and those are not the only option. And a career in the trades is exactly that, or can be a career. The income, maybe not right out the gate is awesome, but as you progress, second year, third year, fourth year apprentice, journeyman, you can make a lot of damn money, and you get to see your work at the end of the day. You know what the hell you did, right? And you're helping people, building the buildings that people live in, building the buildings that people get medical care. Like we're essential, baby. We're essential.
All these non-essentials breathing our essential air, bro.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Were you surprised, Alexander, by like the complexity of the work in the electrical trade, or like the level of math that's applied or the intelligence that those men and women out there actually doing it day after day? Did any of that kind of catch you off guard?
No, yeah, because I did school too. Like I'm doing school right now,
Mm-hmm.
with through my company, and yeah, man, it's wild. You just always flip a switch or turn this
Right.
on, and you don't think of everything firing to make that happen, and you know everyone in their homes basically living in a toaster. You got like just so much wire all around the house and powering everything, and why things short and all that stuff. What could go wrong? Low voltage, high voltage. Don't want to get those confused. You don't want to mix like your hot
Oh
with your
no.
neutral. Like,
No.
yeah, dude, like it's just so much going on, and all the math when like you're finding resistance or finding the current or the ampage or the wattage, even in your bending, the deductions you have to do for size of pipe, like, yeah, I didn't know, bro. So it
It's
was a lot to
surprising, huh?
learn, a lot to pick up on, and then what circuits are what color. I mean, what color circuits and what number, and yeah, there was a lot to get a grasp on, like a lot to chew on, and a lot to
Yeah.
think about while I was just fire cocking everything.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned that you're going to school. I guess the apprenticeship.
It's like a trade school
Okay.
that it is through an apprenticeship. So like you're not an apprentice with the company unless like you're doing schooling.
Is that with IEC or?
Oh yeah, it's IEC.
That's an important thing. I don't. I want to be clear with our audience that I personally am not bashing college, right? Because some people, their aspirations and their contribution to the world is going to require them to have that learning and require them to have that degree. It's important to them. It's important to the family. That's cool. Go do that. But when you enter the trades, you may not have to go get a degree, but baby, you're still going to have to go to school,
Yeah.
right? You're still going to have to apply yourself to continue building your knowledge. And I think that goes for anything, right? For any industry, for any job, for any career out there. If you don't, I mean, Caterpillar Rene posted something on his live post, which everybody needs to check it out. They're fire, baby.
That
The
morning inspiration, bro.
he was talking about the parable of the plumber and the pipe wrench, how the plumber can build their knowledge, they can build their skills, they can build their influence. The pipe wrench doesn't. The pipe wrench serves only one purpose, right? It
Mm,
can only do what it's designed to do. And so we have the option as human beings, we can be the tool and not further our learning, not make the sacrifices to go and educate ourselves on the things that interest us or that will provide value to our family and our communities and ourselves, or we can do the opposite and make that commitment and become what we're intended to be. So summary, right?
Yeah.
If you don't go to university, that's okay, but don't think you're going to come into the trades and make the journeyman dollars without having some learning, because you got another thing coming. You don't go to school, guess what you're going to do? You're going to firecock, you're going to pookie, and you're going to push a damn broom forever.
I'll bash school. I'm not
You're
gonna
good
bash
to go.
He's
education.
gonna
You've
straight
been
up
through it.
bash it.
You've been through it.
I'm gonna bash like the system and how it's set up, dude. The university is great. Yeah, that's fine. But like how it's set up and how it specifically screws up just minorities in general, bro. Even
Mm.
minorities like low socioeconomic, like you can be white too and like not make a lot of money. I'm not saying all white people are rich or whatever. Because you have to take out loans and you
Yeah.
gotta you that's the way you gotta pay for it. And while you're signing for those loans, you're not really thinking. You're young, you accept this letter, like you see the scholarship money, and then you have $10,000 in loans for a semester, and it's like,
Oh,
and you don't think about it, like, yeah, I'm just trying to go to school, I'm just trying to learn, whatever. So you do it, and then that jacks up every semester, and then you come out owing like 80K, 60K, 100K, and
oh.
that debt's with you, bro. And they don't tell you that, but like the trade school do it right. So My company's paying for my school.
Oh,
What would you say to those that say, well, that 10K scholarship or whatever or loan you got is an investment on your life? What would you say to those people?
uh-oh,
Bro.
uh-oh, uh-oh.
No, I mean, yeah, that's what my mom tells me all the time.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mama Rene. Golly.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, you can look at it like that for sure. But like realistically, unless you're on a set track,
Yep.
if you're going to college and like you don't know what you want to be and you change your major 3 times, all right, so something's an issue. Like some people are one track minded, like I'm going to be a lawyer, going to be a doctor, and it's usually like either stuff that was in their family or that's
Yep.
really what they want to do. That's an investment, bro, because you know what you're getting in return. But for people that kind of just go for the experience and want to figure it out, I don't know if you can call that an investment because you don't really have an end game of what you're investing on. You're
Boom.
kind of just like
That's good.
you're kind of like putting a down payment for like a what if or a maybe, and
Mm.
it's like I don't know, bro, because yeah, I feel like if it's investing if you know it's gonna pay off, you have you know how to get there, you know what it's gonna take, and you do everything you can. But like most people that are like 18, fresh out of high school, they don't think like that. I'm gonna go to college. I gotta find myself or whatever. You know, I gotta find my people. I gotta figure out what I'm interested in, and they're investing and they don't even know where they're going, so they're just kind of like putting money in there. You know?
Yeah, that's like buying a lottery ticket and calling it an investment. Like, you
Yeah.
might win,
Yeah,
you
that's
might,
good.
but maybe not.
All
See what
these
you
GameStop shares, bro. You're worried
Oh
about it. Like,
man.
I'm gonna go buy some stock real quick at GameStop. No knowledge of the market or anything or how it's gonna fluctuate, but you dish that money and then you might cash out. You might nah. It just depends. I should have bought stock in GameStop honestly a long time ago.
No, that's a good. I mean, that's a good delineation. The return on investment is not. It's not guaranteed. Going to college does not guarantee financial security when you finish. Having a plan, understanding your direction, that's more important than going into college because
Mhm.
otherwise you gonna come out with some debt, baby. And if you don't know what it is you want to do, or you end up like you said earlier, Alexander, I knew I didn't want to be in an office. I could have made six figures, but man, I would have lost my damn mind doing that kind of work, right? Like if you don't know what the job looks like, why the hell are you gonna go spend all that money to go get that degree to get that job? Shannon, she one of our one of the ladies we interviewed, she's electrical apprentice up in Canada. Shout out Shannon. She thought she wanted to be an accountant because there were
Sounds
accountants in her
horrible.
family, right? And then she realized as she was in school, like, wow, like, yeah, they on the brochures they say, accountants make 80 to 120 grand a year, wah, wah, wah. But what they don't say is the small percentage of accountants make that kind of money. The vast
Mhm.
majority of accountants are around, let's say 40, 50K. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there. So to make 40, 50K a year, to have this, let's be conservative and say it's 30 grand of debt coming right out of college, like you're broke. You're broke. You're not going to have, maybe you're living on your own. Probably not. You go through the extension of the college diet of freaking ramen and pizza for another 4 years to pay off that damn debt. I'm with you, man. Like the cost of it is disproportionate, doesn't make any sense. If it's supposed to be developing people and providing the opportunity, right? Of opportunity for what? To pay your ass? Like, thanks a lot.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot of that, and you gotta have a plan, but you gotta have people that you know,
Mm,
and they don't tell you that either. I mean, when you're in there, college, you're supposed to network in college, bro.
mhm.
And if you don't have nobody inside of the game you're trying to get into, you're behind. Like
Ooh,
if you have no connections, if you don't know so and so, but like that's how usually people with Ivy League schools, that's how they work. Like it's legacy students. My mom and dad came here, they do this, and just following in their footsteps, and it's kind of mapped out. The same thing like you were saying, you owe the guy that taught you everything. You had a mentor, and he guided you, and he taught you, and like you knew somebody, and he helped you along the way. But then the other key component is grit. You got to have grit to do anything to reach your goals. And coming straight out of high school, you don't really understand grit. Either you kind of just passed along, or maybe you did work hard and you fought through stuff that you didn't understand. But I mean, speaking from experience, high school wasn't that difficult. I know it was difficult for some people, but it just depends on how you focus and push yourself and the grit you have. Like there's smart people, and then there's people that don't really get it, but they'll outwork you. And
Mm-hmm.
like that's the grit in itself. They're gonna go farther. Like
Yeah.
you have it all in here, but you don't produce. But they'll outwork you, and that's gonna show more, and they're gonna learn along the way. So I think it's like that too with college. That I don't know, man. They just need to re-educate people on it, because it's a big investment to kind of screw over somebody young, and they get out and they're like, oh, what the hell?
Los que aguantan, ganan.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that keep pushing, man. You got to put it out there, make it happen. Alexander, thank you for giving us your time this morning, and I'm excited to hear your response to this next question, because I get the sense that you're a humble, honest, introspective man that has a vision and a purpose within him. And I'm not trying to butter you up, but that's what comes across. Like, you could see how the system's jacked up and how people are suffering because of it, and you give a shit about it, right? You're not just complaining. You're saying, man, it's wrong. We got to do something different. That's kind of what I'm getting over here. So what fingerprint do you want to leave on the world?
Dang, that's a loaded question. What fingerprint do I want to leave on the world? You know, that's something like I always like thought about through like high school and college. I mean, which is why like I just wanted to be useful. But fingerprint, man, anybody can do anything. Like, as cliche as it is, you can do whatever you set your mind to. You really can. That's exactly how it works. It just takes willpower. It just takes getting out of bed every morning and taking that first step. So the fingerprint that there is always hope to further yourself. Like no matter the situation, no matter how crappy it is, like there's always opportunity. And I think just like leaving that type of wisdom with those who have either met me or had some type of relationship is just knowing like that there's always a way. And that's something I just like recently learned, just like from the career change in itself. Like, you get stuck in certain situations, this ain't gonna work, dude. There's no way to get done what you want to get done. Like, you have plumbing up, you have HVAC up. We took everything down because water can only flow one way, so we got to work around everything else. There's no way. But the thing in the trade is you always figure out a way, bro. And I think just taking that with life and leaving that fingerprint with those that I love and I care about, there is always a way to make any situation better and to learn. Because I think that's like the best thing like you can take away from like just being a human being is learning and growing from what you're doing and from other people. Like, that's it.
Damn! Powerful, baby.
Chill, bro.
Watch out.
I knew I had a good one. I knew I picked a good one. That's why I went and found you, and I went out there and dug through my friends list. I was like, we got to interview this guy.
I don't want to make y'all not offer anything.
No, bro. I mean, it's real. Like, I could feel like you mean it. You ain't talking shit. It's what you believe. It's what you're gonna do.
What about y'all?
Oh shit, Rene, you go first.
Got him, Rene, go first.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cheat because I got a prop. I'll start with my family. What fingerprint do I want to leave on my family? My boss. One day we were having a conversation. It was me and my other foreman, and we were talking about the culture of leak detection and how we need to change it. We want to change it. We want to leave because there's a stigma of leak detection that leak detection don't do shit. Like they never get dirty. They have it cake because they're not in the hole anymore. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know.
Y'all are the pretty boys.
With them exactly. We are the pretty boys, and we get all the easy stuff, right? And that's totally untrue. And we were talking about having a conversation about eradicating that stigma because we don't want to be hiring people into our team that are coming in with that mindset that we don't do shit because we don't want people like that. We need people like think outside the box, come up with ideas, and who are going to take leak detection to the next step because we're growing. There's new leak detection technology coming out. We need people that are tech savvy. We need people that are adventurous. And he played a song from Johnny Cash, The Legend of John Henry's Hammer. He was playing the song, and I just got the chills at this part of the lyrics. I can turn a jack, I can lay a track, I can pick and shovel too. And then his boss says, "Can you swing a hammer, boy? I can do anything you hire me to." Long story short, he can turn a jack, he can lay a hammer, pick and shovel too. He can do all that stuff, whatever you hire him to. And in the end of the story, he outworks this machine that's supposed to do all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful story of just grit. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I'm not the best speaker, but I got grit, man. And I'll freaking outwork you, dude. And I want to leave that behind for my son and my daughter. Don't freaking beat yourself up. Eradicate that freaking I can't voice in your head that tells you can't do something. I want them to look at their dad and be like, yo, like dad did it, I can do it too. So that's the fingerprint I want to leave for my family and for my community as well. Like I know a lot of people that are just hella talented at what they do. Like shout out to Amanda. I have a youth group every Friday, and one of the girls that goes there, she's 20, and she's an amazing artist, man. I was like, dude, like, you ever thought about like doing something with your art? Like getting paid for it, making a business, building a business around your art? And she's like, yeah, I'm looking into it, but I just don't have the money. I don't have time. I'm not that good, and I don't know how to do this or that. Yeah. Like, dude, just start. You know what I'm saying? Just start now. Start with what you can, and start with now, and then keep building on it. Keep compiling the knowledge and practice for when the opportunity comes, or you start molding the opportunity, and you can finally take off on that. You'll be ready because you've been doing it with all the grit that you've been acquiring over the years that you've been drawing. Well, I know too many people that have these wonderful talents and things that they've been practicing on. They didn't even know it because they just love it, and that just tell themselves they can't, and they get stuck in a space where they're doing something they hate. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be that way. And I want for my community to feel comfortable with sucking now and being great later. That's why I'm doing this 4 a.m. morning stuff. I want to show people like, bro, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going. I'm just moving. And you can too. I'm a caterpillar right now. It's okay. Just start.
You're going to be a beautiful butterfly. That's good.
Oh, shit. I guess it's my turn, huh? So I've got a few fingerprints that I want to leave. One of them is changing the image of careers in the trades. I'm a tradesman, came up as a plumber right out of high school, right back in 95, started as a plumber's apprentice, did the deal, and have experienced amazing things as a result of entering a career in the trades. I don't do that type of work anymore, but had I not entered the trades, entered plumbing, I would not have discovered the other gifts and talents that I had within me. Like, I know I wouldn't have. There's just no way. So that's one fingerprint, helping change that for the educators out there, for the students, for the parents, for the world at large, right? Like, you better recognize, fool, we got game. The other fingerprint is very similar to what both of you have touched on, but I think everybody, we're all blessed with some skills and talents, but discovering them and learning how to apply them and leverage them is it's an uncomfortable situation, right? Because you got to get your hands dirty, you got to put the reps in. And so what I intend to do is help people discover what their contribution is, right? What their skills and talents are, and how they can share them with the world to make it better, right? To make it the right way, to make it the way it needs to be. The other fingerprint I want to leave is like change the world, help people understand that we can change the world one world at a time, right? And what I mean by that is every time I interact with somebody, it's an opportunity to help affect them. And it can be this easy. Make eye contact and freaking smile. And guess what? Usually that person will smile back. If I don't smile, I don't have any effect on that person. I'm just another damn face walking by. But making that eye contact and smiling at that person, all of a sudden, I gave them a smile. And that sounds kind of woo-woo, right? A little small. But it's exactly that. Every interaction that I have with another human being is an opportunity to make their day better. And so what I'd like to do is help people understand that we have a responsibility and we have the power to make somebody's day better. Those are, I'll be like the three-toed sloth, right? Those are the three fingerprints that I'm working to leave on this world, man. Thank you for asking, though. So, group hug or what? Rene, you got any last thoughts?
No, that's it. I laid it out on the table. I mean, you told me you don't want me to rant no more, so.
Wow.
Hurt his feelers.
My feelings. Caterpillar joke.
Alexander, any last thoughts or any topics that we didn't cover that you wanted to touch on?
I appreciate what you guys are doing and taking the time with me, and I think it's awesome, like changing the face of the trades and how it really is and what you can do and how it can change your life. I think that's awesome, man. The trades are really a way to measure a man, honestly, because it's not easy. Requires a lot of thinking, and like they say, figure it out, get it done. And that's what we got to take on with life. With every obstacle, we got to figure it out, and at the end of the day, we just got to get it done.
And Rene, that conversation with Alexander was an inspiring, motivating conversation. It really was. And you even said some nice stuff about me. So thank you, little brother. Last time I shouted out to Ontario, Canada, because we've had quite a few listeners that have been consistently with us. I don't want to make our hometown people, the hometowners, feel like I forgot about them. So shout out to San Antonio, Texas. All right, Mr. Caterpillar, what shout out you got?
We got a shout out for Amy Elizabeth. She says, the advice at the end of Renee's episode was exactly what I needed to hear for my son, who was complaining about things being hard. Let's give him some more advice that it's only going to get harder from here, brother, especially if you're growing. We're truly humbled that our advice could help you. And thanks for listening, Amy Elizabeth.
Yeah, we appreciate you, sister. And the rest of y'all, the feedback that you provide is like fuel for us. It's some work. We enjoy what we're doing, but knowing that it has an impact on you is really meaningful to us. So please give us your feedback. Social media, text, email, phone calls, whatever. And we'll go ahead and share that with the rest of our audience. So keep it coming, and we'll talk at you next time. Man, you are one dedicated listener, sticking with us all the way through to the very, very end. Please know that this podcast dies without you, and we invite you to share how the episode's impacting you, along with your thoughts, questions, and suggestions. You've been gracious with your time, so we added social media links in the show notes to make it super easy for you to connect with us. Be kind to yourself, stay cool, and we'll talk at you next time.